We all get hassled by door-to-door Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormon missionaries, and tinfoil hat-wearing street preachers from time to time. But when you're very public about your atheism, well, you might as well be wearing a target. I can't go to a bus terminal, or a subway station, or a public restroom without someone trying to convert me to their religion. That's been pretty much the only good thing about quarantine. The only attempts at conversion were by my dad, who is probably more militant in his atheism than I am. Me, I have no problem with Christians, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, and the like. A good majority of them are kind, compassionate, friendly people. For crying out loud, I'm an atheist and Matt, my best friend and off collaborator, is, gasp, Methodist. But here's the deal. The non-judgmental, non-psychotic, compassionate religious types aren't the ones who are going to try to convert you. That would, negate the whole compassion thing. The ones who come at you at the bus stop are gonna be the homophobic fire and brimstone Christians, or black Israelites, or Jews for Jesus, or those guys who think the Catholic Church and the United Nations are the beast from Revelation who control us through microchips in our dental fillings. And you know what? Every time I see one of these assholes, they arrive with no money, but they leave with wallets so full that they have to use some of that cash over at Dollar Tree to get 2 more wallets to carry it all in. Really, given the reputation of some of the churches they represent, I get the feeling that their preachers tell them, come back with $200 or you can sleep in the alley tonight. That'll show you got love. Ooh, but that's not the worst of it. They feel entitled by their religion to say all kinds of insane bullshit. That accepting gay marriage causes earthquakes. That white people are the literal children of demons. Dungeons and Dragons is Satan pin the tail on the donkey. Playing pin the tail on the donkey is the same thing as giving a blowjob to Judas Iscariot. Giving a blowjob to Judas Iscariot is devil's yoga. And of course, yoga empowers women to take control of their own sexuality, so it's Lilith's jumping jacks. So, how do I deal with it? Instead of getting one long story, you're getting 3 little ones. The first is from the summer of 1997. It was maybe 100 degrees out. My dog Ferris didn't even want to go for a walk. He went out, panted, peed, and pooped. It was so hot that even though he hated it, I decided to spray him with the hose just to cool him off. Some Mormon missionaries came by. I could tell because who the f*** else would be riding bicycles in sports jackets and full-dress slacks in the crack of July? Anyway, I told them I wasn't interested. One of them had an asthma attack. He took out his inhaler and it wasn't doing enough. I had a few like that myself, so I knew the best thing to do was cool him off. Once I had finished spraying myself and the dog, I got him too. His other 2 friends said, "Don't, we aren't allowed to accept help from outsiders." But the guy having the asthma attack said, "No, I'm willing to chalk this up to mysterious ways." But if he was right, why the fuck would God make his messenger someone who didn't even believe he existed, and found the entire idea of a grand plan for the cosmos be downright absurd? It would mean that God, or at least the God of Joseph Smith, not only had a sense of humor, but a sense of irony that could give the great George Carlin a run for his money. Oh, and because spraying him with the hose had destroyed most of their pamphlets, they had to quit for the day, which is good. These kids were about the same age I was. Summer vacation should be used for fun. I don't know about them, but as soon as I went inside, I sat back on the couch, ate some Oreos, and watched Animaniacs. The second street preacher story is weird. I've either encountered the same guy in 3 or 4 different cities in 3 different counties, and used the same exact routine on him, crushing him each and every single fucking time, Or evangelical divinity colleges are like a Ford assembly line that produces identical middle-aged white guys. I mean exactly the same. Same outfit, same hairstyle, same monotone voice with Shatner as bosses. Foam at the mouth with the exact same consistency. Same overzealousness. Same homophobic bullshit. Same anti-Catholic and anti-Semitic sentiment. Same lack of sense of humor and self-awareness. Same nitpicky belief that Jesus is the only person to ever rise from the dead. The thing is, even if you know they believe the Bible is a literal history book, Jesus is far from the first person to come back from the dead. But don't bother bringing up Lazarus in the same fucking book of the Bible, or the half-dozen cases in the Old Testament of someone pulling off the same trick. A friend of mine who was, at the time, a seminary student tried that. The guy didn't fucking care. To someone that nuts, every word of their religion is true. Even the bits that their own religions say can't be true. Really, guys like that are part Ned Flanders and part David Koresh. So, how do you handle people who make themselves bigots for God? Simple. Satirize them, loud and to their face. Better yet, mock them to their audience. Make it absolutely impossible for their message to be heard. Just because they have a constitutionally protected right to speak doesn't mean you don't have constitutional protection to expose them for the lobotomy patients they are. So to mock this guy, I turn to the closest thing I have to religion. Something I have turned to for moral guidance time and time again and rarely been led astray. That's right, we're talking about Star Trek. Now, since this has happened to me, 5 or 6 times, I'm only going to tell the story of the funniest one. Well, it was funny to me, not the preacher. As Mel Brooks put it, tragedy is when I cut my finger, comedy is when you fall down an open sewer and die. I came across this guy in a college campus. He was ranting at some couple, who were acquaintances of mine, for making out. He assumed they were lesbians. He was even more freaked out when their mutual boyfriend showed up. He went on and on about how they had just passed over paradise, and that Jesus didn't die and return to life so that they could do that, and that Jesus was the only one who could redeem them. Well, if you believe in the whole Christianity thing, that's exactly what he did. If you accept Jesus, as all 3 of them did, then no matter what you do, you're in the clear. But then he started ranting on about the empty tomb. I had about 45 minutes to class, so just to f with him I said, Spock said unto Kirk, I always have been, and always shall be, your friend. Kirk lay Spock to rest and launched his body in a torpedo toward the Genesis planet. Then Kirk said unto his crew, of all the souls I've encountered in my travels, his was the most human. Lo, Spock's body was reborn. Kirk returned Spock to Vulcan, and Spock said unto him, Jim, your name is Jim. The crowd started laughing and gave me huge applause. That's when I knew what Lewis Black must feel like every time he returns to do a gig in the DC area. Everyone was pissing themselves. Most of them from laughter. John Lithgow from Footloose, not so much. He shouted, this man is making a mockery of God. To which I could only reply, Microbrain, growl for me. Let me know you still care. Now, he seemed to take that, rather well. As well as a rabid pray the gay away preacher could take an implication that he was into dudes. He continued with, this man is a deceiver. He speaks nothing but lies. I replied with, I'm lying. At this point, a friend of mine chimed in, which means he's telling the truth, which means he's lying, which means he's telling the truth. And like the Norman computer, the dime store Fred Phelps exploded. No, he didn't catch fire or have a heart attack or something. We should be that lucky. One less hate monger in the world. No, he threatened me and the bisexual polyglot and my friend who joined in the heckling with violence. This meant campus security, who had wanted him gone but couldn't really do anything about it at first, were allowed to do their thing. I haven't seen him for a while. All I know is that he wasn't on campus for about 6 months. I heard they had him mining dilithium on Rura Penthe. I wish I could say that was the end of it. I stopped one guy from getting his hooks in one time. Look around. He's still out there. Plenty more are rising up. The last 4 years are more than enough proof that that isn't enough. And yeah, maybe rationality can save those who haven't been swayed yet, but those who have joined with the crazy are lost causes. Unless they are one of those rare few who became evangelical Christians to chase after a girl and got out when they realized they had zero chance of getting laid. I actually knew someone who did that. It really fucking confused me even at the time. Just a few months before he went off to join a right-wing religious cult, he helped me defend my college campus from a right-wing conspiracy theorist political cult. I know I originally promised that this was going to be the double-side season finale of Storytime, but personal issues came up and I had to split this up into a two-parter. If you liked this video, please hit like and then subscribe and ring that bell for more updates. If you really want to find out how to help the channel grow, visit patreon.com/parodyerrorfilms.